What's up, everybody? It is 8:01 Pacific Standard Time. Do you know where your cryptids are?
Back over there.
I hope everyone's not getting too used to the theme song because its time of being used is running down very quickly to March 22nd.
Yeah, we've used and abused it.
It'll be the last time you hear it will be March 22nd on the very special 2-hour 100th episode. It should be good. It should be happy. Anyways.
Yes.
Really got nothing more than top of the hour. We are now pretty much a month away from starting our documentaries. We are a month away from filming.
Yes.
And then, we're going to be occupied for
a
while.
Yeah. Well, you're already occupied. I can see that.
Yeah, damn dog. All right, we're on Route 66, Part 7. Take us away. I got to get the dog out of her little cubby hole here.
He's running away. Take her away.
Welcome to episode 14, part 7 of our Route 66 Haunted Mother Road tour. We spent the week hanging out in Williams, Arizona, checking out the scenes and planning out a future dream, opening Silent Negan's wild petting zoo at the Apache Death Cave area. If you missed last week, you really need to go and listen to it. It was fun and interesting. We spent our days exploring and our nights at the Grand Canyon Hotel. The hotel has changed hands several times over the years and was even abandoned in the 1970s and 80s. New owners purchased it in 2004 and brought it back to its glory. So we did some talking last week about the Grand Canyon Hotel, but now Silent Negan's not here yet, and he's our bus driver.
Well, I could try and drive while he's away.
Okay, so James has the bus warmed up, so let's get on board and head out to Kingman, Arizona.
All right.
Well, and this part was the one that Doc wanted to know about.
Oh, and Doc is playing with his pup.
Yeah, man.
Oh, well, he's SOL.
He'll just have to go back and watch it again.
Absolutely.
So our bus is pulled up in front of the Lee Williams High School. Would you believe that they built the school and football field on top of a pioneer cemetery?
No. Really?
Yeah.
Oh, here he is. He's come back.
So we just pulled up in front of Lee Williams High School, where they built the school and football field on top of a pioneer cemetery.
Oh, wonderful. That's a poltergeist scenario waiting to happen.
See?
Staff and visitors have reported seeing figures in period clothing, disembodied voices, and unexplained lights and sounds. The school is named for Richard Lee Williams, a former school principal and firefighter who died fighting the Doxel disaster in 1973. And that disaster was a propane tanker explosion.
What kind of a school is this?
It's a high school.
Oh, so it's not like a grade school with little Carol Ann going, "They're here." That would make it a little bit more freakier. Okay, you built a school on top of a graveyard. You didn't take out the bodies, little kids. We're going to watch a movie today, boys and girls. They're here.
Well, part of the football field and one section of the bleachers are located on the side of the Old Pioneer Cemetery.
So what you're saying is if they blow a football game, we can blame it on the ghosts?
Exactly. So,
of course, this high school probably wins every game they want because, the opposing team comes in and goes, oh, this was built on a graveyard? Can we get in the bus and go home now?
Or the ghost helps them get their touchdowns.
I was just going to say, the apparitions, they see them and then they run.
They trip the other team or, catch the ball and, so much for interceptions. Okay, so in 1944, some of the graves were relocated, but due to the high cost of internment, a number of unclaimed bodies still lie in the ground underneath the field. During the construction of the school, workers unearthed 7 coffins. So what they did is they built a memorial stone there at the school by the field, honoring the 350 settlers who were buried at the Pioneer Cemetery.
Well, that isn't unsettling.
Some of the apparitions have been identified as a man in a bowler hat, a little girl's voice, flickering lights, and disembodied footsteps can also be heard.
And a creepy old preacher man.
Yeah. One voice introduces himself as Mike. And the locker room has been reported to be a place of unease and heavy atmosphere.
Does anybody ever talk about that song the preacher used to sing in Exorcist 2? Is that every song in the halls? Anybody remember that movie? Anybody remember that scene?
No.
I've never seen any of those.
My bad. If I knew I was going to be doing this podcast now, I would have watched that shit a long time ago.
I know. I still want to go back and watch them all.
I would, but I'm not going to pay to watch them all.
So spectators at the field have witnessed ghosts in prayer gowns and suits, and they appear at graduation and other events. So here you are at graduation, and there's a lady in a prairie dress and a guy in some suit.
Go ahead, Doc. I see it right there in your face. No.
We're just gonna blast past that one. We're gonna save the smart ass comments for later on. We only have 2 people watching. We don't want to scare them off.
Well, you say that now, but in 2 sentences, you're going to change your mind.
Oh, probably.
So there are spirits that may be displeased that their final resting place was paved over. In the school, a quiet fellow in a bowler hat and long coat lurks in the hallways. The little girl ghost calls out at night, wanting to go outside to play. So,
I don't want to be the nighttime janitor at this place. Sweeping the floor, mopping the floor, making everything all good. Excuse me, sir, can I go out and play? By all means, yes, please do.
Yeah. There are also reports of alarms, hand dryers, and motion detectors that go off at will. The school janitor, James Miller, said, "Some nights I hear footsteps. One time I was cleaning the girls' bathroom when I heard someone go into the boys' bathroom. I hear voices from some of the rooms and little kids mumbling. It's kind of freaky, but it doesn't really bother me. I just tell them all to go home."
It's kind of freaky, but it doesn't bother them? Come on. Which is it?
It's kind of freaky. They kind of bug me. I tell them to go home, which is ironic because this is their home.
Yeah.
Exactly.
What? Come on, buddy. Wake up, buddy.
Yeah. So that was all the exciting information I found about that one. So now we're going to head off to visit the Hotel Brunswick. Built in 1909, the hotel was the first 3-story building in the county and all the surrounding counties. The owners were 2 men named John Mulligan and John Thompson. They liked to use Waterford crystal stemware and solid brass beds to give their hotel more of an upscale and luxurious service for their guests. The partners had a great business until a lady came between them. It caused them to divide the property in 1912. So the The hotel had like 50 rooms, and on one end had a bar and the other end had a restaurant. So they divided it right down the middle and put up a big wall. And so they turned the property into 2 hotels. Each of the hotels featured 25 rooms. One of them got the bar and the other one got the restaurant. The 2 sides of the hotel still thrived, but stayed divided until the mid-1960s, when the owner of the Thompson side bought the Mulligan side too. That owner, Joe Otera, took down the wall and closed the upper floors where the hotel rooms were and just operated a restaurant on the main floor. The building was apparently more or less abandoned in 1980. A series of later owners attempted to restore and reopen the hotel without much success. In 1997, new owners renovated the building. But for those 20 years, the only hotel guests that were there was the spirits. It's too bad they weren't paying guests. The hotel might have stayed open. But now it has reopened as a bed and breakfast hotel. In 1999, a new French owner took over the Hotel Brunswick. He turned it into a historic boutique hotel. Once again, in 2006, it changed ownership and a fine dining bistro was added. All over the hotel, ghosts and shadow people wander around. A little girl ghost sometimes appears in the dining room. The kitchen and the basement are centers of haunted activity. Yes, Doc, you can go check out the basement.
I think Silent Negan, the old Josh, our tour guide, he's more of the basement guy.
And the puppy guy. Maybe there's puppies.
And the puppy guy.
At any rate, the building has had several owners over the years. And was purchased again in 2012 by a Swiss gentleman with intentions of restoring it. For a short time after its construction, it was the tallest building between Albuquerque and San Bernardino, California. The hotel closed in 2010 after an almost 100-year run due to the recession at the time. It has since reopened. So there is the issue of the building being haunted. Some reports say the ghosts are a young girl, and others say it's an elderly long-term guest. For all I know, they could both be lurking around the place. During your visit, you may have shadow people walk near you, pass through you, or even just pass by you. This has been reported many times in the second-floor hallway. The
Okay,
shadows.
I don't mind them walking by me, but just not through me, okay?
The shadows and the ghosts seem to be harmless so far. The hotel is now on the market again. The ad says, own a piece of Kingsman's history with the Brunswick Hotel. The partially restored gym features a renovated first floor, new roof, and an attached fully restored restaurant. The property also includes 2 Airbnb studio rentals, offering income potential in a growing tourist and business market. I looked up the pictures. It's not worth what they're asking.
Really?
But it can be yours for a mere $2.5 million.
Oh, is that all?
And it's had how many owners?
Oh, too many.
I was gonna say, it seems like every couple of years it's on the market and someone else buys the damn thing. So it begs the question: how many spirits have messed with those owners?
Yeah, I don't know. I found one ad that turned out to be from a few years ago where they wanted $650,000 for it, and then the new one is $2.5 million. But the advertisement says the building is ideally suited for use as a restaurant and bar on the ground floor and as a boutique hotel, business offices, or apartments on the upper floors. There's also a large dry basement area suitable for an array of uses. It has been on the market for 85 days, according to one of the real estate pages. So we will let the spirits enjoy the empty hotel and restaurant, and we're going to get on the bus. So where are we headed now? We're headed to a ghost town with only about 100 people. Nestled among the rugged Black Mountains, our next stop is Oatman, Arizona. The town is located on a dangerous strip of Route 66 known as Bloody 66.
Ooh.
Oatman was once a busy happening place back in the gold mining days. It now just serves as a reminder to the bloody past. The Oatman Hotel restaurant and bar is filled with restless spirits. It makes it one of the most haunted hotels in Arizona. In all honesty, there are so many haunted hotels to explore in Arizona. We could actually do a whole vacation right in the one state. And so now, why is Oatman haunted? And this one, okay, so this could interest Silent Negan, because we had in the comments a week or so ago, he was asking about the guy with the 5 wives.
Mhm.
So the town is named after the ill-fated Oatman family. In the 1800s, their story captivated the nation. There was a splinter group of Mormons called Brewsterites.
No.
See why I thought Silent Negan would like it? The group faced the harsh realities of the southwestern desert as they traveled west. The family was part of the splinter group. Royce Oatman, his pregnant wife, and their 7 children were among the last to continue the journey. They faced disaster near the Gila River. They had used up many of their supplies, and they were beginning to struggle. A group of Western Yavapais approached them, and they first asked the family for food, but then the situation turned violent. The family was brutally attacked. 3 of the children survived. They were Olive, age 14, Mary, age 8, and Lorenzo. The girls were taken captive, and Lorenzo managed to escape after being left for dead. They thought he was a goner, but he ended up surviving. He later returned and buried his family. Olive and Mary were subjected to harsh treatment, but once they were purchased by the Mojave tribe, the girls were treated more kindly. Unfortunately, Mary died of starvation and illness. Olive thrived and received traditional Mojave tattoos. She lived with the tribe for several years until a rescue party found her and reunited her with Lorenzo. Their family story became a national sensation. The story was chronicled in the popular 1857 book, Captivity of the Oatman Girls by Royal B. Stratton. Okay, so a man named John Derlin built the hotel, and named it for himself. As the town grew, the Derlin Hotel would become the central hub for all the town's activities. It was renamed the Oatman Hotel in the 1930s when the town's population grew to over 10,000. Hollywood stars would stay at the hotel. In 1933, Clark Gable and Carole Lombard spent their honeymoon there.
Of course.
Their stay has become legendary. Many people believe that their spirits still haunt the hotel rooms. The spirits of the couple are thought to linger from the happiness they experienced there, because Carole Lombard was killed in a plane crash in 1942.
Mm-hmm.
Experts say that the spirits often remain where they experienced significant joy or sorrow when they were alive. So the Gable Lombard honeymoon suite is one of the hotel's attractions, and the hotel's owners report that the pair loved the hotel so much they simply refused to leave. They claim their ghosts still occupy the building and are often heard whispering and laughing in empty rooms. The friendly poltergeist Odie is known to occupy the hotel as well, and it is believed to be the ghost of William Ray Flower, an Irish miner who died behind the hotel. Other friendly spirits are said to inhabit the hotel, including playful ghosts in the saloon who have been known to raise money off the bar and lift glasses into the air. The hotel survived a devastating fire in 1921 that destroyed much of the town, and it was rebuilt in 1924. So there was a tradition at the Oatman, was called the Oatman Dollar Tradition, and the hotel saloon is famously lined with thousands of signed dollar bills, estimated at 10,000 to 15,000. A tradition begun by miners in the early 1900s to ensure they always had money for a drink. They would search for their dollar bill that they had signed. It was fastened to the wall, so if they were short on cash, they could go get their signed dollar and pay for their drinks. So listed on the National Registration or Register of Historic Places in 1983, the hotel no longer offers overnight lodging, but it operates as a museum, saloon, and restaurant. Today, the community only has about 100 full-time residents who primarily cater to the tourists. And that was pretty much all of our visit to Oatman. There wasn't a lot other than the hotel. And that was our last stop in Arizona, because we are in the home stretch as we are going to cross over into California.
Goddamn.
Our last state.
About time.
Our last state to travel through, with our final destination being the Santa Monica Pier at the coast.
Woohoo.
So we have reached our first town in California, the town of Needles. Before we start checking out the hauntings, I want to ask you a question. What famous cartoonist lived in Needles during his childhood?
Cartoonist?
Mm-hmm.
Schultz.
Yes.
Oh, shit.
What up, Dom? He wins.
Yes.
Charles M. Schultz lived in the town during his childhood. He was the creator of a cartoon theme we all grew up with. In 1975, he introduced us to his neighborhood of kids, including Charlie Brown, Snoopy, Sally, Linus, Lucy, and more kids from the Peanuts fame. He created one special character that lives just outside the town in a desert, a dog named Spike.
Mm-hmm.
He is the most famous resident in Needles and is often said to live with the cacti and the coyotes. And we all know that Spike is Snoopy's brother. But so there was only one haunted house I could find out anything about. It's called the Big Greenhouse. The first owner of the property was John Warren. In 1909, he sold the property to Claude Tyrone. He purchased a 1/4 acre and in 1910 decided to start building a home on it. It took him a few years, but he finally finished his majestic masterpiece. It was a 3,600 square foot home. It had 22 rooms.
22?
Yeah, it had 4 bathrooms, 2 kitchens, 5 bedrooms, and 67 windows. There were rumors that between 1914 and 1947, the house had a reputation of being a brothel, gambling hall, a speakeasy, which we know is a place where illegal alcohol was sold during the Prohibition, and a haunted house. One of the former owners said it was absolutely not a brothel. But we may never know, but they do make it a heck of a haunted house every year for the community. And so it's just in the last couple of years changed hands again. And there's a really good interview with her at rosiewrites.com. And it goes into detail all about this lady and the hotel and everything. It's way more information than I have time to give on this. But they do make it a haunted house every year, and it attracts the whole town. It's a pretty big thing. But now we're going to go to Oro Grande. In Spanish, it means large gold. It is a small town in the Mojave Desert in San Bernardino County. The area was the location of Native American settlements for hundreds of years. In 1859, Aaron Lane established a ranch and a store for travelers on the road at the old Spanish Trail crossing. This new stop became known as Lane's Crossing, and it was the first settlement on the Mojave River. He sold the place in 1865 and moved downriver to establish a ranch at Bryman, and then others took over his old ranch. In 1873, a strike found ore that ran $160 in gold and $18 in silver. It was just east of Lane's new ranch at Silver Mountain. But in 1880, a large strike of $18,000 per ton gold was found, and it led to the creation of the mining town Oro Grande. The first houses were built, and a post office was established called Halleck in January of 1881. On May 25th, 1927, the post office officially took over the name of Oro Grande. So down the road is a popular stop for people passing by on Route 66. There's a 2-acre ranch that was created by Elmer Long in 2000. It's called Elmer's Bottle Tree Ranch. It has more than 200 bottle trees on it. What is a bottle tree, you might ask? I'm going to tell you about Elmer and his bottle trees. In the
And it didn't come down.
In the 1950s, little Elmer would go camping in the desert with his dad, Elmer Sr. They would collect objects that they found and kept notes on their location. After his dad died, well, Elmer inherited all the colorful bottles that his dad collected. And it's like, what am I going to do with them? But I want to put them to good use. So he tied some bottles to a wooden post, creating his first bottle tree. And then when the sun rose the next morning, he saw how beautiful they were, and he thought, I'm going to make more. So, he made over 200.
Bottle Tree Ranch.
Yeah. He died on June 22nd, 2019. His son Elliot is now in charge of the bottle trees. Basically, the ranch is a forest of them, but they're pipes that are made out of metal that the glass bottles are now hung from. They're mostly soda and beer bottles, and there's other things on the ranch, like a tree made from a used missile, a boat filled with bottles, and most of the trees, which are pipes and pieces of wood, have a unique decoration on top, including a handmade rake, an electric guitar, a surfboard, a wagon, and a gumball machine.
Okay, we get it. He's the first bottle recycler.
Yeah, there you go. Other decorations in the landscape are farm equipment, a typewriter, and a Jeep. At least it's not as scary as the Island of the Dolls from a few months back.
Oh, come on, now you just ruined it. Just kidding.
The town is primarily known for its eerie and abandoned cemetery. It was closed in the late 1950s after controversy over its last burials. The site is frequently cited as a spot for paranormal activity.
Hey, wait. What's the controversy over the burials?
And I don't know if I ever found that. Or it may be down below, and I haven't got there yet. I don't remember.
I'll give you a minute or two.
Okay. So the first burial in the almost forgotten cemetery was in 1852. And there are approximately 132 marked graves, as well as an unknown quantity of unmarked and undiscovered graves. The unmarked graves are believed to be those of Native Americans, the original tenants on the land. Most of the people interned at the cemetery were miners, cement workers, and their families, because they ended up making it into a cement factory nearby. Most of the people, let's see. Oro Grande Cemetery is known as Oro Grande Historic Memorial Park and as the Manuel P. Rodriguez Memorial Cemetery, in honor of local citizen Lieutenant Manuel Rodriguez, who was killed in action in World War II. The Rodriguez family still resides in Oro Grande. Oro Grande didn't come easily into the 20th century. It wasn't until 1917 that the town had a permanent train depot. Before that time, all railroad business was conducted out of a boxcar parked on a siding. One night during a Christmas party at Town Hall, the boxcar mysteriously went up in flames. Witnesses reported that a bucket brigade was soon formed with the goal of putting out the fire. A local dignitary was seen to run up to the budding firefighters and say, "Folks, look at you. You're getting your good clothes all ruined. And besides that, we need a new depot." So naturally, this propelled the Santa Fe Railroad to build a real wood in the Ground Depot. Sadly, it was demolished in 1969, and there has been no regular scheduled passenger train service since that time. The owners of a local gold mine report hearing long, distinct conversations between men while they're deep underground, despite being alone in the area. So it's there's a lot of stuff with the miners and things there, but yeah, I didn't find the controversial part, I don't think.
Would be interesting to find out because, why would they say it's a controversial burial and not give any sort of detail?
Yeah, I get some of these places don't have all the information, and I try to go search for other places with it, and I can't always find it. And so the next stop on our tour is San Bernardino and the home of California theater. Will Rogers was a popular cowboy philosopher, humorist, and one of America's first political satirists in the early 1900s. Will Rogers made his last performance at this theater before he was killed in a plane crash in 1935. His ghost is said to haunt the practice room there. It has been reported to feel cold and some have seen his apparition in the small window of the room. Since his death, employees and visitors at the theater state he has been seen over the years in the dressing room that he used during his last performance. Okay, we're going to go to the Sturgis Center for the Fine Arts, formerly Sturgis Playhouse. It's rumored to be haunted, with reports of a ghostly voice heard near an air vent during late night rehearsals. The building, which historically replaced a school, it's known for its creepy atmosphere, old red velvet drapes, and dark wood. A witness reported hearing an airy voice say, "Hey, are you there?" coming from an air vent near the back of the theater during a 9:30 p.m. rehearsal. The site is associated with stories from a former boys' school that previously existed on the grounds, including legends of a drowning in a now closed pool. The theater is described as having a dark, oppressive, and creepy atmosphere, particularly at night. And then here's a story about a high school girl at San Bernardino High School. It's said to be haunted by the ghost of a teenage girl named Vicki Baxter who attended the school. She was killed in a late 1920s car crash on her way to the prom. She can be seen on nearby roadways walking towards the school. She is there before morning and disappears in the sunlight. Every 4 years, she is seen hitchhiking to the prom. The story goes, one warm spring night in the late 1920s or early 30s, 3 young men in a placard Phaeton stopped to help Vicki, a beautiful but distressed young woman dressed in a flowing formal gown who was standing on the corner of Waterman and Highland Avenues near Mountain View Cemetery. Vicki missed her date for the prom that night, and the young men who were on their way to the prom themselves gave her a lift. When the prom was over, the boys gave Vicki a ride home. She was asked to be let out at the same place where they picked her up. They watched as she left the car. Vicki approached a large wrought iron gate, which at the time was the entrance to Mountain View Cemetery. The boys said Vicki passed through the gate and then vanished. The next day, the boys' parents called the police, who talked with Vicki's mother. Her mother claimed that the account was impossible because her daughter had been killed in a car accident the previous spring while driving with her date to the prom. It is said that Vicki can still be seen on occasion at the corner waiting for a ride, and that corner is at the cemetery. So, yeah, Negan's missing out on all my jokes because it's like we're going to move on before Vicki asks Silent Negan to take her to the prom.
Yeah. He must be working tonight, huh?
We got 2 people watching.
Oh, he's going to be silent Negan.
So next up are the Redlands and the Morey House. The house was built in 1890 by residents David and Sarah Morey, and The house, it is said that both of them still remain in the house today. Shortly after David and Sarah moved in, Sarah died of a sudden illness, and her husband committed suicide not long after. After she died, he never returned back to the house. He became an alcoholic, and he hung himself in his room while living at the Hotel del Coronado. Ghost hunting teams have captured orbs, strange hotspots, and pictures of the initials SM. This beautiful Victorian home has been dubbed America's favorite Victorian house, and it's appeared in countless commercials, television shows, and movies. David Morey arrived in the Redlands in 1882 to retire from carpentry and shipbuilding. His wife Sarah fronted the money for the house, and his building expertise is apparent throughout the Queen Anne style Victorian. Actress Carol Lombard, here she is again, a relative of Mrs. Helen Kimberly, who's from the Kimberly Clark famous brand, part of that family. She's reported to have spent some time at the Morey house. One of the rooms is called the Lombard room, but she actually had inherited the house, but died before she could take ownership of the house. The basement, music room, children's room, library, and kitchen are all said to be haunted. But yeah, if you look that one up, it is gorgeous. So next we're going to the Barton Mansion, which was built in the 1860s by Redlands resident Dr. Ben Barton. For decades, the mansion was rumored to be a hotspot for Satan worshippers. This is a location made infamous in a video shot by a group of paranormal investigators in the early 2000s, where they depicted a demon or ghost emerging from a room in an abandoned building.
Oh, please say it wasn't Mr. You-Know-Who.
I don't know, because if I get to that point, I move on.
Put it on the bottom.
Right, yeah, I didn't want to say it.
Yeah. But yeah, some of it may be from there. The history of the Barton Mansion started with the local ancestors of the Native Americans who begged Barton not to disrupt that particular area of land. The ancestors claimed that the burial ground was not to be disturbed, or else an unholy pestilence would be unleashed. Barton dismissed the warnings and took them to be superstitious. So almost immediately after construction of the house, Barton's wife collapsed and died. This shook Barton up so much that he became a recluse. He no longer wanted to be in the outside world, so he turned to the underworld. He would use his time to connect to his wife and children by using magical rituals of satanic origin. Loud noises and red lights were known to have pierced through uncovered window panes of the home late at night. Some of the presumptions is that Barton was using human bodies in his spell casting. There's a legend that transient workers would disappear while they were looking for lodging. They would knock on his door wanting to stay there. And with his medical experience, it would be easy for him to harvest body parts for rituals.
Are we sure he wasn't Jack the Ripper?
He may have been. And
Probably a little bit of the years difference, you know.
He was a reincarnated Jack the Ripper. And so when Barton died, he had no immediate family, so the place went to extended family. They sold the property, and in 1920, the mansion became a mental hospital. Over the next 50 years, the mansion went from a mental hospital to a nursing home for the terminally ill. With all the dust, the mansion just became more in the dark. Care workers would report seeing dark and menacing shadows dancing along the walls, objects moving, and smells that were never explained. In the 1970s, part of the home was destroyed in a storm, and it was sold to the city. The Barton Mansion was built Okay, so I already said the 1860s. Um, okay, so that's all I have on that one. But so we're gonna get back on the road, and we're just gonna pass by some places and talk because there really isn't a lot going on, and the rainstorm is pretty messy. So we just want to stay warm and dry.
Okay.
So Agua Mansa is an abandoned town in San Bernardino County and is officially a ghost town. It used to be the most popular location in the county, or in San Bernardino, the town. No one lives there, and all the buildings have fallen apart. But people first began abandoning the city back in 1862 when a huge flood destroyed most of it. There are about 2,000 dead bodies buried there, and the whole area is rumored to be haunted by hundreds of ghosts. So the Mission Inn Hotel was originally built back in 1878. It spans several blocks, and its stunning Mediterranean-style resort full of spiral staircases, towers, and courtyards. The Mission Inn is said to be haunted by Frank and Alice Miller, who are the son and daughter of the original Cece Miller. It is claimed that both of them are wandering the hallways of the Mission Inn and that they haunt many of the rooms. Paranormal activity is reported at the Mission Inn and includes guests being touched or pushed, cell phones failing, floating blue lights, and the sound of Alice singing. I hope she can sing well. Okay, so about 500 feet above the city of Riverside is a great hiking trail up Mount Rubidoux. The owner, Frank Miller, built the road to the top and built a cross in 1907 in honor of Father Junipero Serra. People have also reported seeing apparitions, ghostly figures, and even the image of Jesus Christ himself at the top, especially at night. Rocks piling up on their own, as well as secret passages to catacombs, perhaps leading to the Mission Inn. So that could be kind of interesting to check out. Okay, and now we have Evergreen Cemetery, which is the oldest cemetery in San Bernardino. It used to be a rundown and poorly maintained, but a few years ago it was refurbished. And prominent citizens, from the founders of the city to war veterans, were laid to rest there. Ghost hunters claim that what makes the cemetery special are the ghosts from the period of the influenza pandemic of 1918 and 1919. Many who visit there report a strange green fog that they can see late at night, and they're able to hear voices on their recordings. And then the next one is the Pinnacle Steakhouse in Colton, California. Sports a great menu and a good atmosphere. But just before you get to the entrance to the women's restroom, you might notice the print of a person's hand on the wall. The handprint's believed to be that of a young girl who would eat there in the 70s until her death in 74. Employees have cleaned and sanded the handprint, but it keeps reappearing back.
That's not spooky at all.
Yeah.
Whatsoever.
Well, if you go to in Altadena, California, if you go to Loma Alta Street on Gravity Hill, if you put your car in neutral while facing downhill, your car will appear to roll uphill backwards. Locals say it's the spirit of a teenage girl pushing your car to safety. According to legend, she and her friends were killed in a tragic accident here when she lost control of her parents' car. Some visitors even claim to find small handprints on their car afterwards, believed to belong to the ghostly teens. Okay, I have a couple little bit longer ones. So the next one is the San Gabriel Mission Playhouse. The Playhouse was constructed in 1923, well, between 23 and 27, for John Stephen Moriarty's huge successful mission play. Architect Arthur Bennett designed the Burnett designed the playhouse in the Mission Revival style. The facade was designed to resemble John's favorite mission, the San Antonio de Padilla in Monterey County. The 1,387-seat theater has Native American influences in its painting and carved ceilings. Replicas of Spanish lanterns used aboard galleons in the 1800s hang from the ceilings. Woven tapestries that were a gift from King Alfonso XIII of Spain in 1927 adorn the sides of the theater. The theater is home to a fully restored 1924 Wurlitzer pipe organ, originally built for the Albee Theater in Brooklyn, New York. Beneath the playhouse is a network of tunnels built by the original owner, Uncle John, so he could move quickly between the front stage or the backstage and the foyer. During the Great Depression, the tunnels were said to have been used as a makeshift morgue and then sealed once they were full. Today, performers and staff report seeing mysterious apparitions on security monitors. Some believe that they're seeing Uncle John himself, along with ghosts of a little girl and a former stage manager who never left the theater. So after the run of the Mission Play, the Mission Playhouse was used as a movie theater. During World War II, the dressing rooms were turned into apartments. Since 1945, the Playhouse has been owned and operated by the City of San Gabriel. When the city purchased the Playhouse, they renamed it the San Gabriel Civic Auditorium. And on September 26, 2007, the theater was renamed and once again called the Mission Playhouse. The Playhouse is said to be haunted by the spirit of its original owner. Now, the Playhouse has been used as film locations for various TV series and movies, such as The Love Boat and Remington Steele. Throughout the years, many notable names have graced the Playhouse stage, including B.B. King, Tippi Hedren, Lily Tomlin, and Tony Bennett. Now, here comes a really sad one. So, the Colorado Street Bridge. It was built in 1912 over the Arroyo Seco River. The Colorado Street Bridge is beautiful as it is infamous. It earned the nickname Suicide Bridge after more than 100 people have reportedly leapt to their deaths. Many of them was during the Great Depression. Visitors have reported sightings of spectral figures, including a man with wire-rimmed glasses and a woman in a flowing white robe who appears on the parapet before vanishing into thin air. The Colorado Street Bridge was once part of the iconic Route 66, a highway notorious for its hazards. When Route 66 was first built, it lacked light and guardrails, and in areas like Pasadena, the mountainous terrain posed additional risks. And fatal accidents were tragically common, with head-on collisions often proving fatal due to the absence of car safety features, because it was the 1920s. One of the most dangerous sections was the Colorado Street Bridge, completed in 1913. So it was nicknamed the Suicide Bridge because it became infamous for the numerous tragic deaths, some preventable, some others seem to be driven by unknown forces.
We got a bridge here in Portland named that as well.
Yeah.
That's to do.
It says when it was completed in the early 1900s, the Colorado Street Bridge was considered the highest concrete bridge in the world at 150 feet high. Unfortunately, that reputation attracted all kinds of people who were looking to leave this world for the next by jumping to their deaths off the bridge. And so even before the bridge was finished, there was a really unfortunate and untimely death. A construction worker known for playing pranks at the work site fell into wet cement underneath the bridge. He was unable to be retrieved, and he died entombed in the cement.
Oh, and he's still there?
Still there.
Oh,
Sometimes he can be seen sitting near the place where he died, looking sad and forlorn over his entirely preventable death.
Suicide Bridge. They just need to leave that name there.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So the first person to intentionally jump off the bridge was in 1919, only 6 years after the bridge was open for public use. And one of the notable suicides was the death of a mother. She threw her young baby over the bridge before she
Really?
jumped.
I guess I can mark that down as throwing children.
Yeah. Thankfully, the child landed in a tree and survived, but the mother did not. So these days, she's just seen wandering the bridge at night, wondering where her baby is.
Right where you left it.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
And okay, so now we're going to go to the city of Rosemead, to Savannah Memorial Park. It's a cemetery that's believed to be haunted by the spirits of early white American settlers. It's a small cemetery located on Valley Boulevard between Rosemead and El Monte. The cemetery is the gravesite of many of the first white Americans who settled in Southern California. And let's see, several families, prominent families, I guess, are there. And so considering the amount of early white settlers buried at Savannah, there is something there. Whether it's just the foul energies of white Southerners who fought for the South during the Civil War, or it's a legitimate haunted site, they don't know which. But tales of haunted highways are universal. But this stretch of Bray Canyon Road in Diamond Bar, California, has been the scene of so many traffic accidents over the last few decades that it might be true. Bray Canyon Road stretches along Highway 57. The road continues until it reaches Orange County and leaves the San Gabriel Valley. When the road winds down with several curves, people said that it's really haunted. It's one of the most haunted areas in the valley. The most common reports are apparitions of hitchhikers who appear to be walking, but then there's been some tragic incidents and discoveries. A body was discovered along the road several years ago, and many people have passed away in traffic accidents. So it's a mysterious and even dangerous place to drive through. So don't pick up hitchhikers if you're going down that road.
That seems to be kind of the thing with the Phantom hitchhikers is don't picking them up, and then they ride with you for a while, and you take them to where they want to go, and then they disappear, and then you go back, and it's like, oh, so-and-so's been dead forever. Or the house is abandoned, and it's just in shambles, and the house that you thought you saw wasn't really there in the first place. Not spooky at all.
So we're going to look at the Pasadena Playhouse, which opened in 1917. It's one of California's oldest theaters. Gilmore Brown led the charge with this playhouse, creating an acting troupe that worked to build and then occupy the theater once it was opened. Brown was fortunate to have many affluent and influential figures to help him get it off the ground. After all, Los Angeles was a playground for the rich and famous. But he didn't rest on his laurels and let the money do the work for him. The drama leader was passionate about making his productions as good as possible, hiring the best talent and sparing no expense on sets and costumes. His hard work paid off because even George Bernard Shaw came to the theater and declared it the Athens of the West. Gilmore Brown is said to still linger around the theater he built from the ground up, a place where he dedicated so much of his time. Known as a benevolent spirit, Brown's love for the Pasadena Playhouse lives on. Much like the crew's admiration for him, his presence is often felt through the sound footsteps echoing through the theater, and it's not uncommon to see him make subtle adjustments to the stage lighting. However, his patience wears thin with laziness. One stagehand notorious for slacking off experienced this firsthand. While avoiding his duties one night, he heard a voice shout, "Hey, start working," and he hurried and began sweeping, only to realize he was alone in the theater. Moments later, the sound of angry footsteps approaching him sent him fleeing, abandoning his broom, dustpan, and even his final paycheck. Okay. Seeing. Well, we can actually finish this up tonight if we go a couple minutes over.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Why not?
And I'm going to skip a couple of the more boring ones. Okay, so we're going to go to Devil's Gate. It's a dam located in Pasadena, California, with an ominous reputation. Named for the rock formation near the dam resembling a horned devil profile, the site has long been associated with eerie legends and dark history. Built in the 1920s, the dam was originally intended to help with flood control, but it has since gained notoriety for the sinister stories that surround it. In the 1930s, Jack Parsons, founder of the nearby NASA Jet Propulsion Laboratory, is reported to have performed several rituals in that very tunnel. Local tales suggest the portal to hell is to be the site of the actual portal to hell that Parsons helped open. Naturally, nobody can confirm if Parsons succeeded or not, but in the 1950s, the area became infamous when several children disappeared after venturing near Devil's Gate, vanishing without a trace. This fueled the already growing belief that the site was cursed or even the entrance to hell. Adding to the dam's dark legacy, occult rituals were rumored to have been performed there by notorious figures like Jack Parsons, a rocket scientist, Aleister Crowley, and L. Ron Hubbard, the founder of Scientology. These events have solidified Devil's Gate as one of the Pasadena's most feared locations. The lore surrounding Devil's Gate goes beyond just strange disappearances. Many claim that the site is the portal to another realm and that paranormal activity is expected. Visitors have reported hearing disembodied voices, seeing strange figures in the distance, and feeling an overwhelming sense of dread while near the dam. Some have even claimed to see shadowy figures standing at the edge of the gate, watching from afar before mysteriously vanishing. And so it says that Parsons and Hubbard and their occult practices may have opened a gateway to the dark forces. And over the last 100 years, the Devil's Gate Dam has developed a long association with occults, black magic, and other grimmer realities. Specifically, it's the portal to hell, and the long tunnel leads to a dead end. So in 1957, a young boy named Tommy Bowman went missing in the Devil's Gate Dam. His disappearance was later linked to a convicted criminal. In 1998, the body of a student from nearby Occidental College was found downstream after he'd gone missing. So the Devil's Gate Dam in Pasadena is definitely, it's lived up to its creepiness. Yeah, so that's somewhere I don't want to go.
Yeah, no.
And we're almost there. So
Almost. Come on. We should be there already.
well, the Queen Mary came up.
Oh, okay.
So if you want to learn more about the Queen Mary, you can go to Spotify and look it up. It was the first story that I wrote in our whatever haunted thing it was, but it's on Spotify, it's on YouTube.
It was
the episode.
got the handy dandy book.
Season 4,
Queen
episode
Memories, Season 4, Episode 5.
Oh, 5. Okay. But yeah, that was the first one I wrote, I think.
I believe so.
Okay, so we have arrived in our final town. We're in Santa Monica.
Yay!
So as we head to the Santa Monica Pier and the end of Route 66, we're going to look at a couple more sites. One is the Basement Tavern. It's now temporarily closed, but the popular nightly hangout is located in the basement of the Victorian on Santa Monica's Main Street. In 1973, the house was transported to where it is now, and the story goes that the former owner, Delia, came with it. The Santa Monica Mirror states that the staff have gotten used to nighttime noises, opening doors, flickering lights, and footsteps. And in fact, they've even named a drink after her called Delia's Elixir. But last but not least, there's the Santa Monica Pier, which has been attracting visitors from all over the world for over a century. However, not all the visitors are, shall we say, living. And
Of course not.
it's written, for many years, there have been rumors of ghosts riding the carousel or spending time on roofs. Employees have reported hearing the sounds of footsteps, yet never finding anyone.
That's okay. I'll pass on all the above.
So where we're going to stay for the end of this trip is the Georgian Hotel. It's a historic building in Santa Monica, California. It's an 8-story skyscraper designed in the Art Deco style, and it opened in 1933. And at the height of the Prohibition era, the hotel housed a speakeasy hidden in the basement level of the hotel, and it has been restored. And the hotel was purchased in 2020 by the Boulevard Hospitality and has been reopened as a hotel. So it's called the Basement Tavern. So yes, the historic Georgian Hotel in Santa Monica is widely rumored to be haunted, with guests and staff reporting disembodied voices, mysterious phone calls from empty rooms, apparitions, and unexplained sounds like gas and footsteps in the former speakeasy area, suggesting lingering spirits of its Prohibition-era past. Guests have found their belongings disturbed, like suitcases unpacked, the TV on, after they leave a room. Transparent figures and shadowy figures have been reportedly seen in hallways and at the restaurant. The front desk staff receive calls from unoccupied rooms where they hear giggling and other noises. Don't want to know what other noises are. The hotel opened. Let's see. So it says that legend suggests a residual energy from past events, including possible murders, may remain imprinted in the building, because it sounds like it may have been a place with some mobster type stuff.
Of course.
And,
Of course.
I
so-
expect nothing less.
so this is where we're going to rest until we start back to Portland on the tour bus. So thank you for joining us on our adventurous ghost tour from Chicago, Illinois to Santa Monica Pier in California. Our tour bus has been filled with excitement and wonder over the last few weeks. It has been fun to learn,
Craziness.
yeah, it's been fun to learn the history of Old Route 66 in its centennial year, because this year is in November will be the 100th anniversary. And then please continue to join us on our adventures as we now travel through Oregon and Washington, enjoying those Cajun tots as we learn about the ghosts of McMenamins. So join us next week as we start with the famous McMenamins in Edgefield.
We're getting so close to the end.
Done.
Dang.
All right. Well, we're 3 minutes over. You guys go ahead and let's wrap it up. And we got to clean out. We got to clean out the bus because Silent Negan, Mr. Josh, the driver, he may have smuggled some things on board from some of these dangerous animal petting zoos because we all know he wants to start his own.
Right.
If we ever got these T-shirts straightened out, I think that needs to be one. Is a cartoon image of Josh with a peg leg and a hook hand and an eye patch. Somebody
Okay,
who's better at AI needs to make this happen. Just a cartoony version of him. Maybe take one of the pictures of him holding a computer.
And all that good stuff.
I love it. So I'm going to give a shout out to Betty, who is my number one fan and favorite karaoke DJ and the lead singer for Seeking Saturn here in Eugene. And she's pretty awesome. So go to her page and subscribe to her too. But it's we've had a great time, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please do.
It can only
We're
get
trying to
better.
get. Go ahead. Well, the more subscribers we have, we can probably monetize this and
Right?
buy more gear for going out.
Well, on that note, let's keep the cryptids close and tight and hug them all night until next week.
Good night, everyone.
Everybody, see you next week. Bye.